ladies, welcome back. So today's video is going to be a kind of back to basics makeup 101 tutorial. Basically today I'm going to be teaching you how to do a classic black smoky eye using all of my tips and tricks for how to get a good smoky eye. This is definitely a tutorial for beginners or anybody that has trouble with smoky eyes, which don't we all? Don't we all? Let's just take a moment for the smoky eye. Thank you. Yeah, so I'm going to be taking you really in depth, step by step, exactly what I'm doing, why I'm doing it, what tools I'm using, what colors I'm using, basically a complete guide on how to get a smoky eye. I did do a classic black smoky eye because I feel like if you can master a dark black smoky eye, you can do it with any color, girl. Like if you can get this down, you can do this trick with any color you desire. So I did a classic black because if you learn this one, you'll be good to go with any other color that you like to use. But the whole point of this is that if you learn this technique, that you will be able to master any smoky eye no matter what color you want to use. So I'm going to be taking you through all of my tips and tricks and exactly what I do and how I do it. As I said, I also give you some tips and tricks on how to pair your smoky eye with like your blush and your highlight and your bronzer, and I show you my favorite nude lip combo, which I'm excited about because it's my favorite. But yeah, obviously this look is not revolutionary. It's been done 1,000,001 times, but I think it's really important sometimes to just take it back to basics and learn the basics of makeup. One of those being a smoky eye. Everybody loves a good smoky eye, whether you're going out on the town at night, going on a date, going on a party, going to a concert, or just any special occasion. Everybody wants a good smoky eye, am I right? So if you can learn this, you can do it for you and all your friends and everybody will love you. So as usual, all of the makeup products that I use in this video will be listed down below and I'm going to be mentioning them in the video. But without any further ado, let's just jump right into this Makeup 101 how to get a good smoky eye makeup tutorial. Hi guys, so I already have my brows done. This is completely a personal preference. I just choose to do my brows first, but I do recommend if you don't usually fill in your brows when you're doing a smoky eye to at least run some brow gel through them or a little bit of like a brown eyeshadow through them just to kind of tame them and help them frame the face a little bit more, because if you have like really stark dark eye makeup on and your brows aren't filled in, it is going to look a little bit weird. So I do recommend just filling them in a little bit. Obviously I have drag brows and you don't need all that if you're not used to it, but I do recommend filling in your brows. The first thing we're going to do is prime our eyelids. I'm going to be using the MAC Painterly Paint Pot. You can use any eyeshadow base that you like. You can use the Urban Decay Primer Potion, Too Faced Shadow Insurance, another paint pot that you might have. Doesn't really matter, you just want to get it on the eye. This is really going to help all of those eyeshadows blend a lot better, look a lot more pigmented, and keep them on throughout the night, because obviously when we're doing a black smoky eye or any kind of smoky eye, we don't want our eyeshadows going anywhere, because what was the point of us putting them on in the first place? So an eyeshadow primer is definitely going to keep all of it in place. And if you don't have a separate eyeshadow primer, you could always just use a little bit of your concealer and put it on your eyelids. That tends to work too, as long as your concealer doesn't tend to crease. So if you have like the MAC Pro Longwear or like the Naked Skin from Urban Decay, those are great concealers that I like to use as eyeshadow bases sometimes as well. And now we're going to actually move into the eyeshadows. So all the eyeshadows we're going to be using today are from Makeup Geek. I wanted to use these because they're my absolute favorite eyeshadows, and also I think they're really just affordable, great quality, and easy to get your hands on. You just order from the website. They have bunches of swatches if you want to pick which colors you want and all that. So I just like Makeup Geek. They're just the best. So the first color we're going to be using is Peach Smoothie, and this is just a really light kind of peach color, and I'm going to take this on an E40 brush from Sigma. This brush is really fluffy and it's going to diffuse the color a lot, which is why we're taking our first color with this. And basically we're just going to take this right above the crease, like right in this area, like below where the brow bone is, but not too, I don't know, just like in this vicinity, and you're just going to buff it in circular motions from inner corner to outer corner. And this color is really mainly to kind of help all the dark smokiness that we're going to put down here blend up and like make a gradient up into the brow bone. And it's also just going to help all of the other eyeshadows blend into it and make it look nice and like gradiated and seamless. So as you can see, it doesn't really make much of a difference. You just see a little bit more warmth and a tiny bit of definition in the eye, but this color is really just to help aid in the blending process. So it's very important. Okay, now we're going to jump into a little bit darker of a color. This is Creme Brulee. It's still like a light warmish brown, but it is a little bit darker than Peach Smoothie, and I'm going to take that on an E35 brush, which is a tiny bit smaller than the E40. And we're going to put this right below where we put Peach Smoothie, and we're basically just building on this gradient, so you just want to work from like the top down. So we're just going to put this a little bit lower, once again inner corner to outer corner, and you want it to be just as blended out, but you just want it to sit a little bit lower so it kind of starts forming that gradient in the eye. But don't worry about the placement too much, just because this brush is smaller, so it is going to get a little bit lower. You can place it the same places you place Peach Smoothie, but because the brush is a little bit smaller, it is going to sit a little bit lower on the eye. So don't worry about the placement too much because it'll just naturally happen. So as you can see from before, it is a little bit darker and a little bit more defined so far. Okay, so now we're going to take an even darker brown color. It's still a nice warm brown. This is the shade Frappe, and we're going to put this on an E38 diffused crease brush from Sigma, and this is going to sit right directly in the crease. So, well, actually maybe right above the crease, because we're going to put something more directly in the crease. But this one is really going to start building up that smoke because it is a lot darker than the other two shades. This one's going to start building up that smoke and really defining the eyes a lot more. From this point, you could really put any color on the lid. Like if you didn't want to do a stark black smoky eye, you could go ahead with like a really dark chocolate brown or even like a shimmery color. But as long as you kind of build this gradient in the crease, you're going to be set for your smoky eye. So yeah, this brush is a lot smaller, so it's obviously going to be a little bit more defined in the crease, but it still is nice and fluffy to get that blending action going. And I always like to keep a clean, fluffy brush on hand just to blend everything together and make sure that it's still all nice and gradiated and there's no harsh lines, because that's really the point of a smoky eye, is just to have no harsh lines and everything kind of blending into each other. Okay, now we're going to go in with Cocoa Bear, which is probably my favorite eyeshadow of all time, and it's a really nice, rich, like reddish, chocolatey brown. And I'm going to take this on an E25 brush from Sigma. This is probably my favorite brush of all time, so my favorite brush and my favorite shadow together. And we're going to put this in the crease as well. This one is going to be really like the token kind of defining the eye shade. So starting at the outer corner, we're going to blend it really low in the crease actually. So you're going to start like right on this outer corner and then go directly in the crease. So you don't even have to close your eye for this. You can just kind of feel for your socket bone, and right exactly where you see the fold of your eye, you're just going to put that brush there and blend it back and forth. Once again, from inner corner to outer corner, because you want the whole thing to be a nice gradient. You don't want any focus to be on the inner or the outer. You want it, or the inner or the outer. You want the whole thing to be a nice smoked out gradient. And you might think we're using a lot of different eyeshadows that are all similar in tone, but really that's the key to like any good smoky eye, is just building on top of different similar shades to get that really beautiful gradient effect. So even though you might think all of these eyeshadows look the same, they're doing different jobs, promise. And this is the point where I like to really perfect like the gradient and smoked outness. So I'll just go back and keep like blending with all my brushes and just making sure everything is nice and blown out, because we're gonna put like the really dark shades now, and so after that it's gonna get pretty intense. So you want to make sure all of that blending is good to go. Okay, and just to aid in kind of this brown color going into straight black, I'm just going to take this color, which is Mocha. It's a dark chocolate brown, and this is really going to help the transition from this like reddish brown into the black. So I'm going to take this on an E45 brush, which is a small tapered blending brush. As you can see, the bristles kind of come to a point at the top. Mine is actually kind of gold, so maybe you can't see that it comes to a point, but it does come to a point at the top. And you're going to take this right in the crease, like very, very tapered end. Like you're basically just going to go in a straight line. You don't want to blend this up too far. You want to keep it really low on the eye, because this is really just going to aid in the transition to the black. Because as you can see, compared to this eye, this one looks like it's going into a dark color, whereas this one looks like my lid is just bare. And this one, you can kind of see that there's a darker color going to come on later. So take your time with this step and just blend back and forth. Once again, you don't want to take it high up at all. You really don't want it to go past the crease. So keep your brush like basically on your lid and just, or like keep the point in the crease and then bend it down so that you're not tempted to like go up here and blend. Just keep it really, really nice and low on your eye. Okay, so now we're going to go in with the black color. This is Corrupt by Makeup Geek. This is one of the blackest eyeshadows ever. It's not the blackest eyeshadow I've ever used. My favorite is actually Noir from Anastasia Beverly Hills, but I figured I'd just keep it all Makeup Geek. And this one is pretty darn black, so it'll work just fine. And I'm going to take that on an E55 eye shading brush from Sigma. You can use any flat shader brush that you have. And I'm basically just going to pop this right on the center of the lid at first. And you just want to pack it because it's black, and black, especially matte black eyeshadows, can tend to be a little bit patchy. So you want to just press it on the eye because that's going to get you the most pigmentation and the most kind of coverage and, I don't know, not blotchiness. And I promise you guys, I'm gonna look crazy up until my whole face is done, but don't worry, like, it's okay. We will get through this. Okay, and as you can see, I don't know if you can see actually, but I didn't do the whole lid. I kept it like just under the crease because I'm going to go back and blend a little, and I don't want the black to go above the crease because then it'll start to look messy and crazy. So you want to keep it just a little bit below the crease so that when you start to blend, it moves a little bit upward but not past the crease. Okay, now that we have the black on the lid, you can see that we're very, very smoked out right now, but I'm just going to take that E45 like pointed brush again, and I'm going to take a tiny, tiny bit of Corrupt, like that's about it, tap it off, and we're going to go in the crease right above where we put the black, like right where it ended, and just blend it to make sure that there's no harsh line. We're going to go back with our other brushes in a second, but you just want to make sure that it's a consistent black up until the crease, but that it doesn't go further than the crease. So you want to basically keep your brush right on the lid and then blend just on the very edge of where that black is. I'm going to take that E25 that we had Cocoa Bear on, and I'm just going to blend the edges of the black. And this is going to kind of soften them and also make sure that we're not taking the black further up because there's Cocoa Bear on this brush. If you want to, you could also just use a clean brush. And then I'm just going to take my clean fluffy brush with no product on it and just blend the whole edge of the entire eye, just like right up here in that upper crease area to make sure everything is nice and blended. And you want to make sure that the inner corners of your eye are still bare, basically, because we are going to highlight them to kind of open up the eyes a little bit more. So make sure that you're not putting black in this area because that would be kind of a disaster, honestly. Okay, so now I'm going to take this shade, which is Shimmer Shimmer. It is a shimmer color, obviously, and I'm going to use this to highlight the brow bone. If you rather keep the entire look matte, then you could just take like Vanilla Bean, which is a matte eyeshadow, and I'm just going to put this right under the brow to highlight it. This is going to lift your entire eye and kind of just bring a little bit more light to the eye because everything else is matte. And if you took a matte shade like Vanilla Bean, I'll show you that right now. If you took a matte like cream shade like Vanilla Bean, you could use that to kind of correct if you went up a little bit too high. You just take it and kind of swipe down and it'll clean up any shadow that might have gone too high on the eye. And you can basically use just any flat shader brush for this step. Any brush you usually use to highlight your brow bone is good. Okay, now you can decide whether you want to do winged liner or not. I thought I was going to, but honestly, I'm kind of digging it without it, and I think a classic smoky eye usually doesn't go with a wing, even though it does pump it up a lot and give it a lot of drama. I'm just going to keep it no wing today. So, if you do want to do a winged liner or any kind of eyeliner, you can go ahead and do that now. But the only eyeliner I'm going to use is this Marc Jacobs one. This is the Highliner Crayon in, I think it's just black, and I am going to just put this right under my lashes up here. I know this looks pretty crazy on camera, but that is going to make sure that there's a consistent black color within all your lashes because we did put eyeshadow on the lid, but it didn't get in between the lashes, so you just want to make sure it's all nice and black, especially for when you put on mascara. So you just want to fill in any gaps between your lashes with this eyeliner. Okay, now I'm going to go ahead and curl my lashes to put on some mascara. If you don't normally curl your lashes, you don't have to, but I always do because it helps when I put on false lashes to kind of blend my real lashes and my false lashes together. And then I'm just going to apply a quick coat of mascara. This is the Tarte Lights Camera Lashes Mascara, but of course you can use any mascara that you prefer. Okay, now I'm going to go ahead and apply some false lashes off camera. This is completely a personal preference. If you like to wear false lashes, you can go ahead and do it. If you don't, you can just put on a little bit extra mascara. But I think especially for a dark black smoky eye, that lashes are a must because your lashes kind of get lost within all the black eyeshadow, and like right now it looks like I have no lashes at all, but when I put these, which are the Esquito Voila lashes, these are my favorite lashes of all time. They're a lot longer than natural lashes, so they're going to kind of peek through and make it look like you actually have lashes, because right now up close it looks like I have lashes, but on camera I don't have any. So yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and just pop these on and I'll be back in a few. Okay guys, lashes are on as you can see, and now it looks like I have lashes, so I definitely recommend if you're going to do a black smoky eye that you go ahead and apply some falsies, but obviously that's a personal preference. It's completely up to you. I'm going to go ahead and just take a clean makeup wipe and wipe off under my eye any fallout that may have occurred while we were blending and using those dark eyeshadows, because you don't want this to interfere with any of the makeup you put on your face, because that mixed with foundation, black eyeshadow and foundation should not be friends. They just don't hang out at the same party, you know? I also didn't mention this in the beginning, but I definitely recommend that you do your eye makeup first, because obviously black eyeshadow falling down on foundation, you're gonna end up having to fix it anyway. So why not just skip that whole hassle and just do your foundation after your eye makeup? It makes life a lot easier, I'm telling you. I've tried both ways, and this way is a lot easier, guys. But yeah, since this is a smoky eye tutorial, I'm gonna go ahead and do my foundation and like my face makeup. I will be back to tell you what I'm using on like my cheeks, like my bronzer, my blush, my highlight, because I feel like that's important for a smoky eye. I'm just gonna give you some recommendations on like colors and stuff, but I'm gonna go ahead and fix this face and I will be back. So I did my foundation and my concealer and all that jazz. Now we're gonna go ahead and kind of give our face some shape, because obviously with this dramatic of an eye, you need to add some more definition to your face and kind of give yourself some life, because obviously right now with just this foundated face and this dark eye makeup, I look like a crazy person. So I'm gonna go in with my Makeup Forever Pro Sculpting Duo. This is in the number 2. I'm gonna take this Tarte contour brush. I'm just gonna go ahead into the bronzer shade, and I'm gonna start up by my forehead and add some warmth and there's like a frog in my throat, and add some warmth and definition to my face. This is just going to bring the life back to your face and add much needed definition and warmth that you need when you're doing a smoky eye, specifically because you would just want to add the life back. Know what I'm saying? You can choose to contour as harshly or as not harshly as you want. I'm not going to do too harsh of a contour. I did kind of like bake under here to kind of clean it up, but I'm not going to like cream contour or anything today. Oh, also I'm going to list all of the products I used on my face, like my foundation and my powder and my concealer and all that jazz, in the description box down below so that you guys can know what I use in case you were wondering. I'm going to use just a littler brush to bronze my nose. I don't necessarily contour it, but I do add a little bit of bronzer to the sides just to kind of tie in the whole face. I feel like when I have bronzer around the rest of like the perimeter of my face and my nose is bare, it just looks kind of weird to me, so I like to do that. Okay, now we're going to go in with blush. I'm going to be using the NYX powder blush in the shade Bittersweet. As you can see, it's like a dark-ish kind of mauvey brown color. I like this kind of color for a smoky eye because it just blends into your bronzer really well and doesn't look like too much of a blush, if you know what I mean. Like, it's going to add some, like, a flush to your cheeks without being too much and kind of taking away from the eyes. So as you can see, I just applied that and it added a little bit of color to my face, but it didn't like, I don't have like crazy blush face or anything, you know what I mean? Or you could even, if you don't have any blush that fits that, you could just use a little bit of bronzer like on the cheekbones and it'll look fine. Obviously, I'm very matte right now, and we all know that I hate being matte. I want that glow. So I'm just going to go back into that sorry, my nose is itchy. We're going to go back into that Pro Sculpting Duo, take the highlighter shade on this NYX setting brush. Yeah, this is the setting brush, right? Yeah, it's a setting brush, but I always use it for highlighting. And we're going to add that glow. So I'm going to put this right on the tops of my cheekbones. I think adding a glow to a smoky eye just kind of gives so much life to your face. And it makes you look not dead. Because, I don't know, if my whole face was matte, I would feel really, really weird. So yeah, that just added a little bit more life to my face, and you guys know I love highlighters on a regular basis anyway, but I just think with the smoky eye, it just brings so much, like, drama. Not drama necessarily, just, like, so much glam to a look. So, highlighter on fleek as always. Okay, so now we're going to move back to the eyes, because obviously the top of the eye is very, very heavy, and we need to balance that out on the bottom, so we're going to work on the lower lash line now. Okay, to start on the lower lash line, I'm going to grab that eyeliner that we used on our tight line, and I'm going to just use this to line my waterline. You don't have to do it if you don't want it to be as dramatic, but honestly, if you have a black smoky eye, I feel like anything else on the waterline would look really weird, unless you did like a pop of color or something. But I would definitely not leave my lash or my waterline bare, because I just feel like that's weird. Then I'm going to take Corrupt, this time on a flat definer brush, and I'm going to go ahead and put this right on top of the eyeliner. This is going to set it in place and make sure that it doesn't run anywhere, and it's also going to intensify it. I'm also going to take it and push it right into the base of my lower lashes. And this is really going to intensify this lower lash line and kind of balance out the smoke. We are going to blend this out though, so don't worry. Now I'm going to take that color Cocoa Bear and I'm going to put it on a short shader brush. And we're going to take this right kind of on top and just below where we put the black color. And this color is really going to aid in the smoking out of this lower lash line so that it kind of matches the top of the eye. So we're kind of working backwards from the way that we did on the top. Okay, now I'm going to take Creme Brulee on another clean E25 brush. I'm just going to get a little bit on the tip of my brush. I'm going to go ahead and run this right along the whole lower lash line, and this is going to make sure everything is nice and blown out. And you can take your time with this step. The more time you take on this lower lash line, the better it's going to look. And then I'm going to take Shimma Shimma once again, and I'm just going to pop this on the inner corner of the eye. This is going to brighten up the whole eye, bring some light to what we have, like to this very dark eye that we have going on. It's just going to bring a little bit of light and attention to that inner corner, and it's just going to brighten you up. Because it's such a dark eye, you do want just a little touch of brightness so that it doesn't look too dark. I don't know, it just adds light to the eye, and I think it's really pretty. You can use a matte color if you want, but I think the shimmer really adds to the whole effect of the eye. And then finally, to finish up our smoky eye, we're just going to take a little bit of mascara and hit our lower lashes with this. You don't have to do this. Actually, you do have to do this. Every lower lash deserves some mascara. I promise. I know a lot of people don't like to put mascara on their lower lashes, and I, quite frankly, do not understand it. And just to finish up the whole look on the lips, we're just going to do my favorite nude lip combo. It's just a really pretty glossy nude, really nice and pouty and defined, and it is my favorite lip combo probably ever. So I'm going to start off with the NYX lip pencil in the shade of Rose Brown. If you're a loyal follower of mine, you know that this is like my holy grail lip liner. And I'm just going to go ahead and line my lips with this. You can overdraw your lips if you want. I probably will a tiny bit, but not too much. Okay, then we're going to go in with a nude lipstick. This is Too Faced La Creme lipstick in the shade Nude Beach. It's a really nice, glossy, like pinky nude. You can use whatever nude is your favorite. Some of my other favorites are like Ferris Nude from L'Oreal, Cream Cup from MAC. That's a lot more pink though. YSL number 1, that is also a lot more pink. Nude Cream from Milani. Just whatever nude lipstick is your fave. And since this is nice and creamy, it's really going to help like blend out that lip liner. And then to top it all off, we're going to be using my favorite lip gloss of all time, which is White Russian by Buxom. And we're just going to top off our whole lip with this. And this is like the glossiest gloss ever. It's going to make you look pouty and sexual and amazing. Okay, and then to finish up our entire look, we're just going to go ahead and hit our whole face with a setting spray. This is the Urban Decay All-Nighter Setting Spray, and this is just to lock everything in place and kind of melt it all together and make sure, obviously, you'd be wearing this out at night, well, most of us anyway, that it doesn't go anywhere. So we're just going to spritz our whole face. And that's basically it for this smoky eye makeup tutorial. I hope you guys really enjoyed it and found my tips helpful for you if you're a beginner with smoky eyes, or some new tips if you're not a beginner and you just wanted to learn something new. Smoky eyes I know can be a little bit intimidating, but when you just take them step by step and practice and know exactly where you're putting your colors, I think anybody can master it. And once you get it down, you can do this with any color you desire. It doesn't have to be a black smoky eye. It could be a purple smoky eye, a brown smoky eye. Doesn't matter what color you're using, as long as you're using these basic techniques, then you will be good to go. So I hope you guys enjoyed this. Make sure if you did, you give it a thumbs up, and if you're new to my channel, then make sure you hit that subscribe button down below so that you don't miss out on any of my other videos. I love you all so much. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in my next one. Bye!